Well, 6th anniversary of the promotion back to the Football League. With us now, the main man on that day, along with Danny Kedwell, Seb Brown. Memories of that day, do they still live strong with you?
Yeah, I think every time the anniversary of it comes around, it's difficult to hide from it sometimes. I think, especially with social media these days, it's very quick to remind you how long ago things were and stuff like that. But no, it's always nice to be reminded. You can certainly have worse reminders come up on your thing just before the end of the season. So no, yeah, I mean, in terms of memories, I don't think you'll ever shake that one out of me, to be honest.
And that fine body of men standing there behind you in the picture there, how often do you get to see any of them these days?
I still speak to, obviously at Hampton we've got Christian, so he's the one probably I see the most. But I mean, you tend to just see players around sort of the circuit and stuff like that, especially while everyone's still playing or still registers to play in some cases. So I saw obviously Keds the other week because we played them in the semi-final for the playoffs at Hampton. So it's good just to catch up. I mean, it's a bit like one of those sort of cliches where once you've been through something like that, you'll never lose touch, even in 10, 15 years time. Well, if you met one of them in a bar, you'd probably still be able to have a good drink and say, oh yeah, remember those good old days. I think that's definitely the case, but at the moment I think it's pretty much limited to that. But I know a lot of them are settling down, so we might see a bit more of each other now they're not all out on the town partying and stuff like that.
Good to hear. And in terms of, you were just saying about social media, of course, and we posted the image of having a tea break the other day with your mug literally on a mug. It still is a legendary situation. It's going to grow over the years. You think of the likes of Dickie Guy and Dave Best, and it must be a tremendous honour that your name is going to be held in legendary status at this club for a long time to come. Yeah,
I mean, you, as I say, you don't try and think about it like that necessarily. It's nice just to, as I say, come down, and when you come down, there's familiar faces and people that are willing to speak to you and stuff like that. So you don't, as I say, well, I certainly don't. I don't like to think of it that much. I'd rather just, as I say, come down, catch a game if I can catch a game. I think that's been the most challenging thing, is trying to find time to come and watch. But no, I mean, in terms of the other guys, it's just a club to be in. I know we touched on before about kind of the affinity, I guess, is probably the best word that this club's had with its goalkeepers, and it's just nice to be a part of that. I think, as I say, it's easy to get lost, especially at a club like this where we've sort of progressed up. So it's almost been a constant turnover of players. So it's nice to be sort of, I guess, remembered a little bit more. But as I say, it's nice to just come back and watch a game. Have to pay for my tickets occasionally and get a drink at the bar.
Good stuff. 6 years on, of course. I mean, you look at the achievements that have happened since with this club. Obviously, Wembley. It's edging closer to one day we'll be back at Plough Lane. Do you think you look back on that day even more specially and think, wow, what we achieved that day? Yeah,
I think it is one of the, as you say, the club's done so much even in that small time that it just becomes a sort of time on the timeline, and you, obviously for me as a sort of fan and a supporter, you look and go, oh, the next big one is Plough Lane. That's the next one on the timeline. So it's just nice to, as I say, nice to have that to look back on, so that when you are sort of sitting here or sitting at New Plough Lane or whatever it's going to be called in 10, 15 years time, and you're going, yeah, I was part of that. It's just nice to have that, I think. But as you say, I mean, the things that have been achieved sort of in the interim almost sort of take more precedence, particularly in Plough Lane. I mean, that would probably be the biggest achievement that this club has had since it's reformed. And that's saying something with some of the achievements that we have had. So I think that'll be the one where everyone can sort of sit back on that first game and have a nice cold drink and say, actually, we've done all right here.
Absolutely, Seb, an absolute pleasure going back down memory lane with you.
No worries, cheers.